Hey guys, so in this video I want to compare the browsers in the iPhone 5 and also in the Samsung Galaxy S4. So this could be a fun video to do. We're going to compare the stock browsers, of course. I'm not going to use any other browser, even though I know that they do exist. So if we start off here to take a look at the UI when we load up these browsers, and the first thing that you will realize is, let's see here if I can connect. Is like slow and all. Okay, so let's see here. First, we do have a bunch of tabs. So let's just swipe some away. Okay, so we are in GSM Arena on both these two smartphones. The first thing we can see here is that when we have full brightness on both devices, it is brighter on the iPhone 5. If you take a look at also, you can see here, I'm actually running full brightness here, yes, as you can see. You can also see that the UI is a little bit different. On the iPhone 5 you have a bar at the bottom, which is, first the display is kind of small on the iPhone, 4-inch, but then you can't remove this bar at the bottom, so of course you get a little less screen here compared to the 5-inch Note or the 5-inch S4 smartphone here. That has not have that bar at the bottom, and then of course it's a bigger screen. So in terms of UI and in terms of experience like that, I think most people will enjoy the S4 the most. But then if we talk about brightness here, the iPhone 5 is actually a brighter display, and it seems to be performing better at showing the color white. If you talk about my eyes, it kind of looks better over there. Both have also a little bit different UI at the top. You do have a search bar at the top here on the iPhone, which you can't actually remove. But if you want to search for anything, you can just search up there. While it's a little bit in the Android here, they used to have one bar here where you can either search or type in a URL. I think that's kind of the way most browsers are going nowadays, that they're removing this search bar at the side. You just have one bar where you can type out everything. But then you can see that, of course, because of the UI is a little bit changed there, so they have forward and back keys at the top, so they don't have to have a little thing at the bottom, which I think is pretty clever. But then they do have kind of the same features over here. If you want to access more features in the Android version here, what you need to do, let's see, first we can tap on tabs here to see how the tab system looks on both. So it's a little bit rearranged here in the Samsung Galaxy S4 compared to earlier editions where they were a little bit more pop-up like that. I would say that they both works kind of the same here. If you want to add a new page, you can easily do so, and you can quickly here go to different bookmarks or stuff, and it's pretty easy to use here, same as with the iPhone. I would say that I think it's a little bit more smooth here and optimized in the Apple world, the tab system. I do believe that the tab system could be way better here in Android. It's a little bit slow here compared to a little bit more of a smooth experience here in the iOS world. The tab system done right in Android is in the Google Chrome browser, so it's kind of horrible here, so way better there in iOS. It's just slow, and it doesn't have to be slow. If you also take a look at some other things here, let's just type in a website. And I'm having a really hard time to type on this small keyboard because I'm used to a bigger display. So that could also be a thing that it's a little bit annoying. Okay, so let's continue on here. So if you talk about settings here in the browser, this is the only settings you get here in the Apple browser. Apple likes to keep it simple, so if you want to do anything with sharing, you just tap on the button in the middle. If you want to add it to a bookmark, you can do so also. Then you have your tabs, and that's about it. Well, if you want to add, here you have a ton of more extra settings that I see that I can't find in iOS browser. That's the Safari browser. and that is features. Here I can see that I can save the page. Yes, you can save it over here, but you can actually find on page. So if you want to search for anything specific, a word or something, it seems like you can do that on the Android browser, but you can't actually do that in the Safari browser. So that could be a very useful feature personally. And then if we go here, let's see, of course we need to exit out of that. We do have some other things also here. You can request desktop view, so every time you go into the browser it will try to request the desktop view. Now personally I always enjoy the desktop view. I hate the mobile view, and I think there's a lot of people like me. Then you also can customize the brightness in here. You don't have to actually go out of the phone to change the brightness, so that could also be pretty useful. Print settings, they will also do have them in here, and then also we do have a incognito mode here, which means that you can browse and the browser won't remember what you do, so it could be good if you do like maybe porn websites or something and you don't want to save anything, then that could also be extremely useful. We also have a history mode here where we can go and access the history, and I'm not really sure how to do that on iOS Safari. I'm not really sure if you can even. So you do have some very, very useful feature here in the settings area that you don't get in the Safari browser. And then you also do get some other cool features inside of the Galaxy phone, which is some of the features are that you have a feature that you can scroll with your hand without even touching the device. So let's see if I have smart scroll enabled. Yes, so you can see that I can go up and down just by hovering across the screen. Now of course this takes some time to get used to how to do it perfectly, but once you get used to it, it works most of the times, or it works. So you can see it works. And then we also have a lot of other features. You also have a cool feature where you don't even have to touch the display. You can be on top of the display and you can kind of hover across the screen, and it will zoom in for you without you even having to touch the display. So extremely cool there, that you can just hover over, and let's say you are in the school or something and you don't want to see your teacher or something that you're reading on your phone, then you can easily just hover over and then just go down. I mean, that is pretty cool. And it's also pretty cool to show off to your friends that you can just hover over the screen and it will. I don't even know how that works. How can the phone know exactly where I'm at? I have no idea. And then I also think that you do have some other features here. You can also hold in to zoom in a cool way. You can also zoom in like this by holding in on the display. And then let's see here if I have missed something, because there's so many features inside here. So if we first try out Air View here, we can see here magnified hovering. Okay, we already have that. That's the Air View. Then we have a smart screen here. Let's see, smart scroll. Yes, smart scroll was also the other feature that I did use. And then also in terms of motions and gestures, I think I did use something here. No, I don't think so. But that's about those features. So definitely you get more features here in the browser if you talk about use the features and settings that you can use in the stock browser. Let's take a look at here at when we zoom in and stuff. So when we start off by zooming in normally, you can see here same awesome performance on both devices. When we zoom in by tapping, you can see here that it probably is. Let's see here. It's a little bit more smooth here on the iPhone when you just go in and out like this quick, especially in terms of rendering. It doesn't have to re-render anything over here. But that's well, it has to do a tiny bit of re-rendering over here. So not a major thing over there, but just something to keep in mind. Also now, if you try out, let's just see how much we can go in over here. So if you zoom in on the Samsung text there. So it also seems like you can zoom in a little bit more here. It seems like you have a limit here on how much you can zoom in on the Galaxy S4 compared to earlier Galaxy devices where you've been able to zoom in way more, which I'm really not sure why you can't zoom in even more, because I do know that you've been able to do that on older Galaxy devices. But I don't think for the majority of the people, they won't really have a problem with that. Also, if we zoom in a lot and if we try to go up and down like this, we can see here that the scrolling is better here in the Galaxy S4 because it scrolls way quicker. So if you want to go from the bottom to the top in just almost one scroll, then you can kind of do that. While on the iPhone here, you have to do way more. So it could be a little bit annoying there. Maybe not be a super big deal over there, but it could be kind of fun to know. We can also quickly here check out the speed here, even though it should kind of be the same speeds. And I'll clear the browser's cache and everything. So let's see here, both loading. There we go, exactly the same there when they did load up stuff. There we go, the iPhone did finish up quicker, and the Safari browser is extremely snappy, actually. And again, the iPhone 5 browser was quicker here in terms of speed. This one is still loading up. And then we are also, of course, showing some different ads here that probably are different in size, so that could affect. Let's try to go to another website, and I have cleared the cache, so let's just try to go to gadgets. So we'll first probably load a mobile website here, even though we have the settings here to enable to always request the desktop view, but I'm not going to do that right now because I want to go to the mobile version and then quickly on both go to the desktop version. Oh, here's a cool thing. You can't actually go to the desktop version here on this website, it seems. Maybe here. No, it seems like Engadget doesn't have that, so that could be a good thing right now if you do have this mobile view, desktop view. If you don't find a desktop view on a website, oh, it can't request that. Okay, well, I hate this company. Why don't you have a desktop? I mean, I don't want to get forced. So let's try another website that's a little bit more normal. Oh yeah, right now when I'm requesting the desktop view here, it's going to load the full page. But in general, I would say that you won't really find... Okay, we did see. Okay, so in terms of speed here, also seems like the iPhone is actually the winner in terms of loading stuff up. So that could be good to know. And you can also see here when we have a lot of things up and running, the iPhone seems to be performing better. So I think we do have a clear winner here in speeds also. Okay, this time actually. Okay, there we go. So let's try znn.com. znn.com. Okay, so This one could render a little bit slower because this one maybe have it pre-rendered. So we're gonna tap here. And you can see, of course, this one seems to be still loading interesting. So it could be nice here if you always want to have the full version of a site to have that option in here to always request the desktop view, because I really do enjoy that. But from what we have seen here, you're probably not going to see that a big difference in terms of loading websites, especially if you're on a Wi-Fi network. But if I would pop these phones on right now to 4G network on my carrier, I have a 4G smartphone here, and the iPhone 5 isn't like 4G where I live, so that do kind of sucks. So I'll get like better speeds on the S4. But if you do live in a country where like the iPhone 5 comes with S4, then that's superb. So quickly look here at the browsers. Which one is the winner? Well, it kind of depends. Like, I think for most people, the bigger screen will provide a better experience. And then they do have some features here, some pretty cool features that you can scroll up and down. And especially I think AirView is a cool thing that you can just hover over to see text. But yeah, you can decide for yourself which one you believe is the winner. So just decide for yourself and have fun with it. Peace.